This is the Object 752, a Tier 9 Soviet Premium Heavy Tank. For any of you that play World of Tanks Blitz, you'll know that this vehicle was first introduced in Blitz about 2 years ago, and I think it might be the first vehicle that was actually created in Blitz and is now making its way over to World of Tanks PC. Although actually that's not the case, because we also have the Hori tank destroyers, which have existed in Blitz and then were added into PC at a later date. While World of Tanks Blitz may be smaller in size, it does seem like a lot of the changes that end up happening in Blitz do sometimes make their way over to World of Tanks. Now, the Object 752 in Blitz features a 430 damage per shot double shot gun. That is not the case for PC. The Object 752 also has really good DPM on Blitz, about 2,600, and that's a lot for an autoloader. But yeah, in World of Tanks, a lot of those values are not going to carry over. So in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at this vehicle's statistics. We're going to see what it has going for it, what it doesn't, and we're going to get into some gameplay and see how it performs. So let's start off with the stats, making our way over to Tanks GG. We can see the DPM right off the bat is really mediocre at best. 1900. Yeah, I mean, even some of the lowest DPM heavies at tier 9 you can boost up quite a bit. Because this is an autoloader, the only way you can increase your DPM is with food and vents. And yeah, I'm not running vents because I wanted to run improved hardening and accuracy on a turbo, so we aren't really getting much more DPM. We got 1900. It's not the end of the world, it's 100 more than the base, but still, it's pretty mediocre damage per minute. It's a 30-second reload, only giving us 5 rounds a minute. So yeah, in terms of dealing damage, the vehicle isn't going to be insane, but it is an autoloader. It features a 3-shell clip, dealing 390 damage a shot, so just about 1200 in a full clip. Because of that, I don't feel like the DPM's that bad. It is an autoloader. Autoloaders deal a lot of damage in a short amount of time. You back into cover, you wait for the reload. But still, 30.5 seconds is an insane time to wait. And when it comes to the aiming time and dispersion, the vehicle isn't much better. 0.38 is pretty dang awful, and 0.305 or 3 seconds of aiming time is pretty bad as well. So yeah, in terms of the gun, this is not an accurate vehicle, and holy bad. Look at the on-movement dispersion, 0.21. That is horrific. I'm even running a improved rotation mechanism, and our turbo, because this is an experimental class turbo, is giving us better traverse on movement dispersion values. It's still this bad. So yeah, in terms of the gun, this is a really just mediocre gun at best. It is incredibly inaccurate, which I've noticed from just one battle in this vehicle. Mobility-wise, it's not that bad. With our turbo, we're able to go 39 and 14 in reverse, so not the worst thing ever, so it's not that bad. Traverse speed's also pretty good at 39. It's normally 31, but paired with our turbo and our improved rotation mechanism, it's actually pretty solid, so I can't complain all too much there. In terms of the HP, 1930, so pretty stock standard for a heavy. It's really the armor that stands this vehicle apart, and that is because it has really good armor. This is an E75 with 246 mils a pen, and that turret is 360. Yes, you heard that right. That means if we were to pull out tier 10s, even vehicles like the 100, I mean, look at that armor. You can't pen that. Even if we put on the heat gun and then we go back and 334 mils of heat, that armor is insane. Haul down, it is completely red. Now, you will notice there are weak spots. The hatches, when you're using gun depression, are big and they are vulnerable, but you can hide them by tilting the gun up. So, yeah, you do have a little bit of weak spot underneath the gun, but for the most part, you should be fine. It's obviously going to be a lot easier to hit these hatches than it is just a small weak spot underneath the gun. The hull is actually pretty strong. Dead center, 275, and it goes upwards of 260. It's actually not, like, that strong, but standard shells will bounce it. So people that don't load gold will bounce right off the upper plate, where if you are loading gold, you should be able to cut right through for the majority of vehicles. Tier 8s are going to really struggle to pen this vehicle, especially in the hull. The only real weak spot is this super small lip on the lower plate, and that's going to be very troll to hit, especially at distance. Side armor wise as well, look at how troll this is. If any of your shells go low, bounce. Any of your shells hit this weird angular spot, bounce. There's a little slit here that you can pen, but the side armor is just troll. I would not personally trust shooting at the track wheel, because look at the track wheel. What are you shooting at? I don't trust that. If it's a flat side, sure, you can shoot it. But you can see how angled this is. It cuts all the way in here. So if you're shooting at the side of this tank, honestly, shoot at the flat, I guess. I mean, there's way too many angles and things that are just weird and wonky. I mean, I would say shoot at this spot here, but the problem is when you're aiming at this vehicle, all you're seeing is track, and it's very hard to discern where that spot is. So, yeah, I'm going to be shooting up here. If I aim at the side of this vehicle, I can tell you now. But, wow, the 7.52 is very, very hard to pen. I can tell you that already. People that are inexperienced, even people that might be experienced, are going to struggle to cut through this vehicle, and I can't blame them. The armor is super tough. It's got a lot of weak spots, but they're super well hidden as long as the player understands what they're doing. Tilt the gun up, nobody's going to see your hatches anymore. Lower plate, it's tiny and very easy to hide. So, yeah, the 7.52 is going to be a menace if played properly. So even though the DPM is quite poor, I do feel like that armor is going to just make an absolutely insane impact on the battlefield. Here we are in our first game. What do we have up against us? 2 Object 7.52s, 2 TNH VZ51s, and what else? Okay, not too much in terms of tier 8s that we're going to have to worry about here. We're going to start this battle off by making our way straight into the frontline hull down spot. Should be able to get some good old slapperoonies out there. I'm thinking if I want to load premium ammo or not, because, yeah, might as well. It's the only thing that I don't love about autoloaders is, like, intuition takes forever. We have to wait 10 seconds to reload our clip with premium ammo. And if I'm in a situation where I need that clip immediately, it's just better to have premium ammo loaded. So, yeah, we're going to be a gold spammer this game. Might not need it, but it will definitely be beneficial. If worst comes to worst, I usually try to save, like, 3 or 6 premium shells for late game. So let's get all the way up to this ridge over here right next to Night Angle and see if we can get some early game shots out. This vehicle does have 8 degrees of gun depression, which is something I forgot to mention. That easily allows it to work ridge lines, and as we can see here, 8 degrees is plenty to work this ridge. Because our lower plate is so tricky to see, should actually be pretty good in terms of armor. So we got the M30, get a nice shot into his vehicle. Got the T54, thank you for the shot into you, and then we get a nice slap into the Skoda, who was slightly over peaking. We only get hit by the Arty, everything else doesn't even hit us, so not a bad result at all. We were able to get out 1,200 damage in just a few seconds right there. Yeah, I gotta be real, the gun, it slaps pretty hard. That felt pretty good, not gonna lie. So not a bad start to this battle. Now the show is playing really aggressive, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to actually get a shell out. There's a 95 behind him, and I don't really wanna, yeah, I don't know if I trust this gun's accuracy on a T95. Also the fact that that tank can pen me, bruh, we already used our med kit. So now we gotta wait 10 seconds, so we're not stunned. Arty, ladies and gentlemen, the most fun and engaging aspect of World of Tanks. Literally anytime you make any initiative or you step outside of the comfort zone, there's Arty staring at you. Now, unfortunately, we do not have the gun depression to shoot these guys here, and yep, again, I just don't have the gun depression. I'd have to go fully wide, so let's just back up at this point. I'm going to wait for them to push my team, and it looks like that's what they're doing. Alright, well, if they're going to push my team, I'm just going to wait. Yep, okay, good. I was waiting for that Arty to shoot. I was not getting hit again by that Arty player. So let's get a shell into the T95. Once, I don't know what he's doing, though. I mean, this T95 has legit killed himself. Yep, there you go. 3 shells into his tank. We're now at 2,140 damage. Alright, not a bad result at all. Sweet! I don't know what that 95 is doing. Like, I legit have no clue what his thought process was. We're going to chill back here. Hopefully we're unspotted. We shouldn't be in the proxy spot of anybody. And because of that, I'm hoping that the Arty's not going to shoot at us while we're reloading. So, now that we are fully reloaded, let's make our way back into the front. We got the Skoda T50 up top. I want to shoot that Skoda, but I don't really think that player's much of a threat anymore. I was thinking about going right over the ridge, but I know that's a pretty bad idea. So let's just get to the side of the TNH VZ. There you go. 1 shot for 380. Second shot for 417. And let's get that third shell. Bonk, 410. Just like that, we are now up to 3,350 damage. That's a pretty solid amount. I mean, yeah, if we had more DPM, we obviously could have farmed a lot more damage. This was an incredibly short battle, only lasting about 4 minutes, but I have really no complaints here. We got out a solid amount of damage, we helped out our team, bounced, not too much, but that's because we didn't really put ourselves in the center of action. Honestly, the only reason this game was even slightly annoying was because an Artie hit us for a decent chunk of it. But there you go, 417 damage into the G-Sor, and just like that, pretty easy win. 3,800 damage and 673, so not too bad at all. I have no complaints here. Pretty solid result for my first battle in the vehicle. We were able to roll out 3,787 damage and finish top on the team. We were able to net 187,000 credits, which is actually pretty dang solid, so I have no complaints here for the first game. I definitely feel the bad DPM. When you're playing this tank and you dump your clip, then you're like waiting and waiting and waiting. It's painful. I mean, I penned every single shell I fired this game. It was just rather annoying to have to wait then 30 seconds to get those shells back to start dealing damage once again. But even though the gun's inaccurate, it didn't really seem to bother me at all in that battle. We were quite frontline, which meant the gun still got the job done for the majority of the situations we were stuck in. I did have a little bit of trouble trying to work that gun depression on the ridge for a moment, but apart from that, we did pretty dang solid. Really, the only annoyance that game was an Artie that kept paking us every time we tried making an aggressive maneuver. That's still why I think Artie is just one of the most cringe aspects of the game, is every time you try to make a maneuver that is somewhat aggressive, you get punished for stepping out of line. That's what I hate so much about Artie. If you're not just congealed with the rest of your team, you're going to be the one getting absolutely pegged. But oh well, we did pretty good, and not a bad first battle at all in the tank. So let's see how we can do in another. Here we are in our second battle. What do we have up against us? Conqueror, E75, 752 Tiger Mouse. Okay, that's not too bad for tier 9s. We are going to start this battle off by making our way over towards the 9 line to the right of the map. I was thinking about going to the left, but we just don't have nearly as many vehicles going to the left, and general rule of thumb, when it comes to World of Tanks, stick with your team. Don't do a lemming train, but it's usually good advice to stay where the majority of your players are. There's less of a chance of you getting YOLO'd, and you have more support if you need it. So we got the Sharfie chair right in front of us, and I don't know what this guy's doing, to be honest. We're going to get 1, we're going to get 2, and we're going to aim it on his lower plate for the 3rd. There you go. That was 1,103. Unfortunately, we did low roll, but we also tracked him, so we got 400 assistance there. I kind of hate that we had to shoot premium ammo into that char, but he's dead, so that's kind of just a flat dub for me. I really have no complaints. Our Tiger Mouse, Raphael, you know what? I have no complaints about him here. I mean, the only complaints I have is that I kind of want to get this Bisante farmed, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get any damage in. We have 600 health left on his vehicle, and, well, now he has 34 health. Yeah, a bit unfortunate, especially because DPM is so scarce in this vehicle. Essentially, I'm going to have to wait for my entire reload before we can get another shell out. So we're going to work our way up this ridge line. You can see I got some teammates behind me getting shots out. We got a Saladin right in front of us, so we're going to see if we can get a shell into you. Aiming, and yeah, that shell went to Narnia. I mean, that literally wasn't even remotely close. Again, look at how bad this thing's aiming time is. Holy crap. I'm surprised we even hit that Conway. I'll take it. We got some assistance damage for spotting him. We're up to 1,500 now, but yeah, honestly, the accuracy on this vehicle. That Conway is only about, I don't know, 150-ish meters away, and that shell was the worst thing ever. Wow. That Saladin, not even worth, honestly. I should have just saved my shot and kept pushing up. Now, at this point, my team's playing real passive, but we got full health, and as I showed, this thing has really troll side armor. So, if I have to bleed a bit of HP to help my team make the push here, I will. I was a little worried. Anybody over to our side? No, it doesn't look like we're spotted, so I'm just going to keep going. We're going to cross this. We are going to get shot, and a pretty nasty shot by the Scorpion for 525, but we have made it over towards the side. Our Sharfie chair gets 1 shell into the 69. Now the Scorpion's going to poke us again. I hate that I'm using premium rounds here, but I kind of just dug myself into this spot, so I'm going to load AP now. Alright, so we've dealt 2,200 at this point. We've assisted 900, so we're just at about 3k combined, but we're going to see if we can get any more out. I think that our heavies are doing a pretty solid job on the other side, as we can see. We made a proper push over on the 9 line here, just helped our team play as aggressive as we needed to. And now we are going to just push right onto the heavies. We're going to try and get behind them. I think that should be a pretty easy way to get out some damage, but Oh boy, there's the 7.52. I mean, this guy's gonna get absolutely crapped on. We can see our Sharfew chair, AMX CDA rolling off to the side, and we're just gonna load some more premium ammo just in case we do need to shoot the 7.52. And holy crap, that Kanonen Jagdpanzer just got obliterated. But yeah, we're not going to be able to pen the 7.52. We just showed how inaccurate the gun was on paper, and we saw how inaccurate it was when shooting at the Saladin. There's just no way we're going to hit this vehicle's weak spots from this distance. I just don't trust the gun enough. I'm not going to waste my only remaining premium shells on it, so I'm just going to wait for my team to get behind the 7.52, and we're going to ignore him. I really think that's the best course of action here. Yeah, he's dead. Waffle finishes him off, so I really have no complaints. We got the Tiger Mouse all the way in the back. E75, Yag Tiger. Okay, well, let's make our way on up and see what we can do. I'm hoping that we can get one more clip out, because 1,200 damage plus the 2,200 we have is going to be about 3,600, which will be pretty nice. So yeah, if we can get one more clip out, maybe into the 75 or the Yag Tiger, I'll be pretty happy. So let's keep on cutting right into the front. Speed! I'm glad I'm running that turbo now. I mean, we're not running like a turbo where we can get up to 42, 43, but we can still get up to 39, which is good enough, and I'd much rather have that on-movement dispersion anyway. So let's see, we got the Yag Tiger, we got the Tiger Mouse off to our side. We are two-shot, so let's just aim it on the Yag Tiger, stay hull down. There you go. He snaps the shell, bounces us. Let's go for that track wheel just so we can get a final shell in. There you go. Easy shot into his track wheel. Then let's get another shell into his lower plate. And sweet, there you go. 3,400 damage. Alright, I have no complaints. And I'm glad that we had premium shells loaded because we were able to cut right through the track wheel and upper plate of the Yag Tiger. I'm pretty sure we would have penned him anyway with the tracking shot, but it's always nice to confirm the pen. Will we be able to get a final shell into the C75? Honestly, I don't know how my team hasn't shot him yet, but come on! Yes, I'll take it. 431. We are not able to get our second shell out, but I have no complaints here. 3,896 damage dealt. So let's see the results of that battle. We got 194,000 credits, which netted us about 81,000. I'm not going to complain. Whenever I play tier 10, tier 9, I shoot a bunch of premium and spend 60,000 credits on ammo and still make a profit, I am quite happy, so I'm not going to complain at all there. We were able to deal 3,900 damage, which is pretty solid, top on the team easily, obviously top in terms of XP as well. So yeah, not a bad game at all. I wouldn't say this was a crazy battle, but we helped our team, especially with the push, and yeah, I mean, to be honest, this tank feels really, really strong. Sure, it doesn't have a lot of DPM, and I know a lot of the World of Tanks content creators think damage per minute is like the most important thing ever, but for me, I don't feel like DPM is that important, especially if you're an autoloader. Autoloaders have the advantage of not needing to poke to deal damage. For example, if you're a single shot tank and you deal 400 DPS, you need to poke 3 times. This tank needs to poke once to deal the same damage that you'll have to do in 3 separate pokes. Every time you poke, you get spotted, and it allows the enemy to have more time to react to you and figure out how they're going to counter you. If you're in an autoloader and you roll around a corner and surprise somebody, they have much less time to figure out what they're going to do and make a proper reaction. Because of that, autoloaders don't need DPM. They need armor and hull down capabilities so that while they're reloading, they can then poke, get some shots out without bleeding health. You're going to need that health late game, especially if people rush you due to the poor damage output you have. So this is actually a fantastic tank in my opinion. It's balanced by the incredibly inaccurate gun and very, very poor damage per minute. But to make up for that, it has some of the best armor I've seen in tier 9. And when you pair that with 8 degrees of gun depression, it allows this vehicle to work any ridgeline that is basically thrown in front of you. The 7.52 is way better than I expected it to be, and that's just because of that ridiculously strong armor. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this vehicle, but I actually have no complaints. It feels very, very solid, especially with the equipment loadout I'm running. Some people might say just run V-stabs, but I would definitely like to have better traverse speed paired with on-movement dispersion. And then we're also running our mobility improvement system, which is giving us better gun traverse as well. I was thinking about running a T3, which is obviously quite a bit better, but if I ever want to demount it, I can't. So because of that, I'm just not doing it right now. Either way, pretty enjoyable game, so I have no complaints here. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and let me know what you guys think about the 7.52. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.